Comic books, video games, anime, sci-fi. If you've been made fun of for it, we're probably going to talk about it.
One question. Is it too late to change the name?
Nerd Radio starts now.
Welcome, y'all, to this week's Nerd Radio on the podcast page at WRIF.com. And wherever you're getting your podcast as part of the B-Pod Studios network, make sure you follow us on social media as well at Nerd Radio 101. And that's the website that Al Beck pays a lot of money for so that you can go.
$12 a year. I am not breaking the bank for this show.
That's a lot of money in my world. I don't know about you.
$12 a year. That's like a... How much does it cost to be a part of AARP, Al?
I appreciate that you went to him and not me with that joke. I really appreciate it.
Going with the MASH and Bob Newhart and all of his old-timey loves.
Yeah.
Sure. So, yeah, we're here to talk about some nerd stuff. A couple of things that are happening this week and a couple of things that we've been up to. I had a somewhat busy weekend. I watched a whole bunch of streaming stuff, which I haven't gotten an opportunity to do, and bought a new game. I can't wait to tell you guys.
Is it new or is it new old?
Fairly new. It came out in the last 12 months. How's that?
Wow. It's within a year at least.
So, yeah, exactly.
It's fairly recent.
Let's start with Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix. I sat down Friday night to watch that. Actually, I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. We watched one episode of it, and Amy's definitely a binge watcher.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she wants to watch a show, she wants to start and finish it in the same night.
Okay.
Whereas I will watch one episode and then stew on it and then come back the next day and watch another episode. So Thursday I think we watched the first episode, and then Friday we watched the other 7.
There you go.
And it's great. It's a cool show.
I didn't realize it was live action. For some reason, I thought it was going to be an animated show.
Yeah.
I haven't. I started the first episode and then I fell asleep. I started it at night before I was going to go to bed on Saturday, and like my fiance, she was already asleep. I'm like, well, crap. I'm going to take advantage of this. I have an opportunity to watch something. She's not going to care. Put it on and immediately zonked out. So I was impressed to see that it's going to be live action and not an animated show. But I'm interested. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I want to see it because you sold me on it. It's the guy that wrote The Kingsman.
Yep.
This is his superhero story. So I want to see what he's got. Show me what you got.
Yeah, I mean,
Mark. His name's Mark something, right?
Yeah, Mark Millar. Yeah,
Mark Millar.
For those that are unaware, the basic premise is that what would it be like to be Superman and Wonder Woman's kids?
Gotcha.
And even disappointing is basically what it would be like if Superman and Wonder Woman were your parents. They would be disappointed in you no matter how good you were at being a superhero. And they have 2 kids, and one of them is an extreme disappointment, and the other one is trying his best, but still doesn't seem to measure up to his dad. The show is fascinating because it's directed a little bit like Lost, in that it bounces back and forth between like the 1920s and 1930s when the original Jupiter's Circle guys got their powers, and then the current day where they're all old people. Like Josh Duhamel is the Utopian.
Yeah, at some point you see him with like a beard. He's got
gray
white hair and a beard. I'm like, what the hell?
Unfortunately, his hair looks a little bit like mine. It's long and a lot of gray in it, and he's got a big old gray beard.
Well, at least your hair is real.
That's
I can tell
true.
His was a wig. It was a very poor wig. I do recall that when I woke up, like, oh, the show's on. Go back to sleep. I got to turn on my CPAP machine now.
I also found it fascinating being someone who read the comics. That I think we talked last week about the fact that when they made the Wanted movie, they basically optioned it off the first issue. So they had no idea where the story was going.
Oh, right, yeah.
This 8-episode first season covers essentially the first 2 issues of the first miniseries.
Wow.
Huh.
Which makes me wonder if it's a similar thing, because Mark Millar has been somebody that's like, he's made all these miniseries independently that your creator owns specifically to chuck at Hollywood and try and get movies and television shows out of. But it's good. It moves a little slow. But it does have that kind of there's an island that they have to go to in order to get their abilities, and the island has a mind of its own, and it's got a little bit of Lost to it.
It's kind of I don't know. I don't know why people make shows that move slow with the attention spans that are out there today. I mean, everyone's got a phone in their hand, and if you lose their attention for even a moment,
yeah, that's true.
But on the same token, the slow-moving shows tend to binge better. It's like writing for the trade in comic books, and no one wants to go week to week anymore, unless you have Disney.
I thought you meant with the comic books.
No. With the show.
Yeah, I would. Especially you read the Jupiter's Legacy comics, right?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay, Amy seemed to enjoy it
Okay.
without having that frame of reference. I like dropping into a new superhero universe, kind of like with Invincible, the cartoon on Amazon Prime.
That's the other one I need to check out.
Yeah, that one I think you'll enjoy very much. That one moves definitely a little bit faster.
Okay.
And it's very bloody.
Is it? Well, see, because I have a free afternoon after work today. This is the first free afternoon I have
There
in
you
a while.
go.
So I'm like, what should I watch?
So let's wrap this show up right now so James can get out of here.
You can go home and I'm surprised when Cody's asleep and you've got a free afternoon, your first instinct isn't to pull up porn.
Well, I do that when she's awake and in the other room.
It's just she knows what she's getting into.
It's like, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm making sure I'm bringing my phone with me. And the deuce is going to take a few minutes longer.
Right.
I have a pre-deuce ritual.
I also sat down on Sunday and watched the Army of the Dead.
I watched it too. Oh,
on
man.
Netflix. And
can you see how hard I'm rolling my eyes about that one?
It was fine.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, fine. It was okay. It was way too long. And number one, it was way too long. And I'm sorry, I have a hard time getting behind zombies with an evolved intelligence, is all I'll say.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Zombies that have like a society and a language and
it was just like, it was. And I think they
didn't even realize that was the premise. That sounds real dumb.
Yeah, there's a moment in there. I hope this isn't that big of a spoiler, but there's a moment in there that they allude to. I think that zombies have sex and have zombie babies.
Yes.
And I was like when that happened, I was like, okay. That's when I was like, that's it. I'm still gonna play, but I'm going upstairs and I'm warming up some. I eat these little taco bites. They're like
there you go.
Little microwave taco bites, like $1 for a container. I'm gonna warm up my taco bites and get some sour cream, and I'll come back down and see whatever's left and try to watch this.
God, out of that whole thing, I think I want to hear more about those taco bites.
They are delicious. $1 for a pack, man. You nuke them for 90 seconds, let them sit for like 2 minutes to cool down so they don't burn your mouth. And if you're a sour cream person, it'll sour cream, and you dip them right in there. And stealing from Weird Beard, chef's kiss.
Do they have squeezable sour cream?
Hell yeah, they do. Okay. It changes the game. No more dollops.
Yeah, the only time I ever messed with sour
no.
cream, it was in a little tub.
No, you get the squirt stuff. So it's like you got the control of ketchup and mustard, but it's sour cream.
That was always one of the things I envied going through Taco Bell or whatever was that sour cream gun.
The sour cream gun?
Yeah.
It was like a caulking. The one at McDonald's with the special sauce was just like a caulking gun.
Yeah. So now you got the hand squeezed sour cream. It's awesome. It's a game changer. We got more control.
We were high school kids working in the kitchen at McDonald's. We tried to fire that into each other's mouths.
Oh, I bet.
Caulking gun.
Isolate just that.
Yep. What else were you doing as a high school kid? What else you firing in your mouth?
You're learning new things. It's your first job.
Just be warned, Chuck. If you send that clip to me for an audiogram, there's going to be no context.
No, not at all. I'll make sure to leave that.
He'll pre-record it. He'll record something else. It's like, as we'll take you to a flashback to Chuck Bean's childhood in high school. They tried to shoot it at each other's mouths with it. Squirt it in everybody's mouths.
Yeah, but I thought Army of the Dead was the premise. If you're not aware, for those of you listening, and Mr. Al Beck, is Dave Bautista, the wrestler, puts together a squad to do kind of an Ocean's 11 style heist from a casino because Las Vegas has been completely walled off and taken over by zombies.
Which one is this?
Army of the Dead on Netflix.
I was calling it Army of Darkness for like an entire week too.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you see the Army of Darkness movie? Yeah, if you wanted to see. People are like, no. And then I realized I was calling it the wrong thing.
I saw it 30 years ago.
Called it the wrong thing. I got it confused with the Bruce Campbell movie.
I think I'm alone in this room, but I also couldn't care less about Dave Bautista in a movie.
No, it's fine. I didn't walk into it expecting.
I don't hate the
Shakespeare.
guy. He's but he just. I don't think he's good.
I will say this. This is another Zack Snyder movie, and getting two Zack Snyder movies in a year has convinced me that somebody needs to be in the edit room with him when he's putting his movie together, and every time he reaches for the slow-mo button, they need to...
The slow-mo or that weird blur effect that he had.
Yeah.
Because there'd be all these shots that were all of a sudden, I don't know if he's trying to replicate a comic or what, but you just see the main character. And then there's like everything behind them is all blurred out.
Yeah.
But then there's some weird flare for no reason. You see a light flare coming off from the screen. You're like, I don't understand why he's putting so much effort into this shot here. What are we establishing? What are we trying to set up here?
Right.
What's the point, Snyder? Get it together, man.
Makes me wonder why we were all excited to see his cut of Justice League.
Well, I was excited. I enjoyed his cut of Justice League.
Like you said, somebody
see the Martian Manhunter.
Dude, that guy has got so much. He got so much hype around that too. Like he really made out great by not doing the original Justice League version, because it's like I open prep services and it keeps coming. His name still comes up.
Yes.
Where it's like, Zack Snyder would like to do a movie about this. I'm like, I don't care. Then friggin' do it.
I saw him do an interview for this Army of the Dead movie and say that there's actually a Snyder cut of Sucker Punch.
Don't care.
And I'm like, come on. Is there a Snyder cut of every movie you've ever made?
If it's Zack Snyder, probably.
But it's already, it's starting to skew me to like, his name was just kind of, I was indifferent to.
Right.
He was there, whatever. I would see a Zack Snyder movie. I probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah.
But it's getting to a point now where I'm starting to just dislike him.
Yeah. it's like some of our comic book writers where we're like, enough. Enough with you. Yeah. Now, you know what? If you're looking for a fun, 2 hours, I will say this. Amy she was in and out of the room while it was going on, but as the movie ramped up, then she sat and watched the whole thing. And when the zombie tiger showed up, she was like, no, that's badass.
Zombie tiger was pretty cool. And the zombie tiger kills somebody in a very graphic way that I enjoyed.
Right.
But for the most part, that's the most enjoyment I got out of the movie, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it didn't live up to what I wasn't expecting much.
James doesn't recommend it. I think it's a good time. I think it was fun.
If you want to waste 2.5 hours, go for it. That's the thing. If it wasn't 2.5 hours, like if they gave me the story that they gave me, but they did it in 90 minutes,
right?
I'd say, yeah, check it out.
Oh,
ooh, I think
oh my goodness. Is he under the table?
I hope not, because he's gonna bite my genitals right
Good,
off.
nice kitty. Good kitty.
That's Al's stomach.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. I'm still on those taco bites.
I'll bring you a pack tomorrow, Al.
Sweet.
Well, the big news in the world of nerds is that we finally got the teaser trailer to Marvel's Eternals a couple of days ago.
Oh, we did, and I never got around to watching it.
And personally, I don't know. I don't know that I care.
No?
No, I watched it. It doesn't really. It's a teaser trailer, so you're not getting any plot in it. You're just kind of getting to see who.
You've seen like what Angelina Jolie looks like, all dolled up with her makeup and stuff.
Right, and they've chosen characters that are such niche, like off to the side. They're not major characters. Like if they'd have chosen the Inhumans, then at least I could have identified Black Bolt and Medusa and stuff. But no.
So who are the characters that we're seeing in the Eternals?
The Eternals was, and I had to do some looking up on this, but the Eternals is one of the last things that Jack Kirby created for Marvel. I think it's almost a dead tie between this and Devil Dinosaur back in the 70s. But before he worked with Stan Lee on Spider-Man and X-Men and all the main Marvel books. Well, then he went in the late 60s, early 70s. He left Marvel and went over to DC because he wanted to create.
I never knew that.
Yeah, he wanted to create some of his own things and created the New Gods, which is where Darkseid from the Justice League movie comes from, and Mr. Miracle and Big Barda and all those characters. Well, after about 5 years at DC, he decided to leave because they were wanting him to do, they canceled his New Gods book and then put the New Gods characters in other people's books, and they wanted him to do stuff that he didn't feel like drawing. So he left and came back to Marvel and put together these Eternals characters, which are essentially a riff on the New Gods.
Okay. That
he'd created over at DC Comics. They're a bunch of humans that were modified by the Celestials, which if you read Marvel Comics, the Celestials are the giant Jack Kirby looking guys with the different helmets on them.
Like, is Galactus one of those guys, or is he something different?
He's something different, but think Galactus sized.
Gotcha.
As far as the Celestials are concerned.
I just remember, I remember like an X-Men trading card, one of the trading card series with the Celestials, and it was just like...
Yeah, more than likely.
A big, giant star constellation, but it resembled a face, is what I think the card looked like. I could be mistaken. It could be the wrong card, but the Celestials rings a bell.
Yeah. So the Celestials take these humans and they turn them into Eternals, which essentially gives them superpowers and makes it so that they do not age or die. And then they live forever throughout human history.
Eternally.
Hey, now you're catching on. But refused to.
1 + 1 is 7.
They refuse to participate in what's going on in human history. And there's a part at the end of the trailer where they're all sitting around having dinner, and one of them's like, "Do you think I could lead the Avengers?" And everyone pauses and goes, "Ah!" Like that. What a ridiculous thing to think of. Which I don't know how much I care about this movie, but I do care about how do you explain these guys have been around forever, yet took no part in Endgame and Infinity War.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everybody got wiped out 50%, so some of them had to get wiped out too.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a big plot hole.
How did that happen? And then they just went, nope, we don't participate. We're not doing anything.
So you're saying because they're, because they're humans with these gifts from the Celestials, half of them should have been wiped out? They wouldn't have all just fallen on the half that...
He's just saying, where were they?
Yeah. Well, like, Thanos wiped out 50% of, like, everything in the galaxy.
Basically,
animals and plants and everything.
However long, what was that, like 10 years or whatever of all those Marvel movies was so buttoned up and tightly sealed.
Right.
And then they finished it. Now we're going to see all the holes.
That's the that's the thing about all the new moving forward with the Marvel stuff, that I'm curious on the business side what the numbers are going to look like now that you've done all this Thanos stuff. Like, they're going to do Eternals and Shang-Chi and all this, and I feel like they are not going to get the numbers that they've been getting for the last 5-10 years.
No, I don't think there's as much name recognition. There's no character recognition to some of these new movies that are coming out, I feel. But I feel like, the original movies, the original Marvel Cinematic Universe started with characters everybody knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now you're getting
the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, you're getting into the fringe stuff. So it's going to be a little harder of a sell to, like, the average Joe to be like, do I care about give a crap about Shang-Chi? Is that his name?
Shang-Chi, yeah.
Shang-Chi? I like Shang-Chi better. Like,
Shang-Chi.
He's like a rapper, and he's an Asian rapper, but he also kicks ass when he's not rocking the mic.
He's a K-pop star.
Yeah, hell yeah. There we go. Now spitballing. Now we need an artist, okay? Then we need somebody to render Shang-Chi.
Yeah, when they were doing the first round, or basically I think it was in like phase 2 of the Marvel movies, and they announced Guardians of the Galaxy, I felt very similar. I was like, I don't understand why you're doing those guys, other than the fact that Thanos needs somebody to murder so that movie goers know he's a big deal. And obviously it didn't exactly work out that way. Mm-hmm. So with Eternals and Shang-Chi and stuff, like, I realize you're like, okay, now we're a big deal so we can do these weird movies. Mm-hmm. But you're also you're gonna need to give us Spider-Man. Yeah. You're gonna need to you give us an Iron Man or something.
Yep.
Give us another Thor. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out yet, you can go over to I believe WRIF.com or the Checkpoint XP website.
It's got the trailer for the Eternals?
Yeah, the teaser trailer for Eternals, and you can check that out. Let's take a short break. When we get back, I will tell you guys all about this game that I picked up on my
the new game
on my PC this weekend. What's and how you can get a pretty good deal on it yourself. If you're listening when Nerd Radio comes back next.